posso parlare italiano. È un'abilità che ho acquisito nel corso di 3 anni. I wanted to learn Italian because, let me show you. The reasons I learned Italian were because I wanted to have banter with waiters and taxi drivers. I wanted to share stories with my Airbnb hosts. I wanted to help other tourists communicate with the locals. And of course, I wanted to show off to my mates. I want to converse with Italians and feel like an Italian. Now, you see, This was me 2 years ago, listening to Italian and talking to myself. I still do this today. I still listen and speak to myself, but back then I was just starting to learn Italian, so 90% of my time was spent listening to, speaking, watching Italian, playing mini games on my phone, and only 5% was dedicated to reading Italian, because I thought, if I don't practice speaking and listening Italian, then how am I ever going to be able to hold a conversation in Italian? But you see, I had a realization. As I progressed and I became more competent in the language, the first time I read a book in Italian, this one here, The Boy with the Black Eyes, Il ragazzo degli occhi neri, it taught me more Italian than most of the other methods I used. Why? Because reading a book in Italian is hard, but I didn't let that stop me from trying. This is how many Italian books I've read since I read that first one 2 years ago. 8 in total. Some I got from the city library, a couple I bought, and one I think I even found on the street. But anyway, what I've discovered is that reading books is one of the most effective methods at taking you from that beginner level in a language to the intermediate, upper intermediate, and even advanced proficiency levels. You see, this was me 2 weeks ago at an Italian wedding. My friend Ollie was marrying an Italian lady, Sarah. It was an amazing weekend. Thank you, Ollie and Sarah. But what I loved was that I was able to have banter, finally, with the waiters. I was able to help my fellow guests at the wedding order gelato from the ice cream man, and I was able to have a real, meaningful conversation about business, life, retirement plans with my lovely Airbnb host, Uli. And I think it was these books and reading these that enabled me to achieve that. So, how did I read these books? Well, the advantage of reading a book over, say, listening to a podcast or watching a movie is that you can do so at your own pace, and it makes using tools to help you on your way much easier. So I used a website called languageshadowing.com. I simply take photos of the pages that I want to read in that session, I upload them to Language Shadowing, and then I can read the book on my phone and translate any of the words that I don't know as I go. I even save certain words to a separate list so I can come back to them later, but it doesn't really matter what system you use. The most important thing is that you push yourself out of your comfort zone and read a book. So, try reading a book in the language that you're learning. I'd recommend you don't use these parallel textbooks where they have the English translation on one page next to the original Italian on the other. they often ruin the flow of reading. The translations aren't often very accurate, you have to match between pages, it's slow, it's clunky, it's not effective. Instead, just use a normal Italian book with a story that you actually find entertaining. I would recommend these graded readers. For example, this is the story of Seta, but it's been adapted for the intermediate proficiency level in the language. It comes with helpful little translations at the bottom and often has small diagrams with labels to help you on your way. And yes, I read physical books. How can you resist? Call me old school. Even with these, I take photos on my phone and upload them to language shadowing to translate any words that I don't know to speed up the process and make it more enjoyable. I'll put my book and app recommendations down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.